the fight with the royal family, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to Harrods, and this is where it's proof that both sides are in on the same act, and this shows that this whole idea of the conspiracy of the murder of Princess Diana is all part of the intended stage play that's been going on all along. In the Harrods, I went up to a woman and I said, "Where's the Princess Diana memorial?" She went, "Oh, it's in the Egyptian staircase." So I was like, "You're joking me." So get led to this Egyptian staircase, and you go in, it's real. I've been to Egypt, and it's, you know, pretty much exactly the same as what you'd expect in Egypt. Real grand, golden looking, like, staircase with escalators in it and stuff like that, and loads of cheap perfumes, well, not cheap, really expensive perfumes on sale.
Yeah.
And you walk over to the shrine of Princess Diana and Dodi Al-Fayed, and you've got these two pictures. You've got, obviously, Diana and Dodi. Think about that. You've got Christianity and you've got Islam.
Right.
And these two pictures are being symbolically held up by a dove. And the dove is also attributed to the Holy Ghost, which is the same thing as the angel Gabriel and everything else that goes with it. So you've got symbology there. Below these two photographs, you've got a pyramid, alright, a 3D pyramid with a time glass in it. So symbolic to pyramids and time and stuff.
Yeah.
Then on either side of that, you've got two very tall candles, looking like a number 11, and also looking like the two pillars of Freemasonry that ISIS is standing between. So what I'm here and proposing today is that essentially we have got Princess Diana being identified with the fertility god of ISIS.
Very interesting. Do you have, by the way, taken any pictures of this memorial?
I've got photos of it. The problem I've got is I can't write enough in enough time, because I work full time as well to get this all out. Do you know what I mean? It's such a big thing to write about. It's,
of course.
It requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
But basically, so you think about this with the New World Order, they wanted a one world religion. We've got the combination of Christianity and Islam here symbolically in Harrods. Right, and obviously Islam and Christianity both accept the angel Gabriel as a messenger of God. So we've got the proof here that they want to do this with Diana. They want to identify her with ISIS. So what does that make Prince William? If ISIS is, you know, the mother fertility god, that obviously means that William naturally becomes the son.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So looking at this, I thought, right, we have to do a bit of research into William now. And I've, you know, 6 months ago, someone said that I was going to be researching the royal family. I'd have laughed my head off and said, you know, get away. It doesn't concern me whatsoever. But I've ended up being driven down this path, and it's doing my head in.
Yeah.
but anyhow, Prince William's birthday. He was born on June the 21st. You know when June the 21st is?
That's the summer solstice.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically, you know, the Son of Most High.
Yeah.
So in the New Testament, the angel Gabriel announced, "He shall be great, and he shall be called the Son of the Most High. The Holy which shall be born of thee shall be called the Son of God." Right?
Yeah.
So we've got Prince William's birthday, and it's on the solstice, when the sun is most high.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look into it a bit further. How old is he in 2012?
Probably 33, right?
No, he's 30 years old.
30 years old, okay, yeah.
Connection here. Jesus began his ministry at age 30.
There you go, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can't get away from this. It's all over these people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, symbolically, 30 years old, William's birthday, symbolically can be seen as an XXX in Roman numerology.
That's right, yeah.
And it just so happens that the Olympics 2012 is XXX. So it's the same Olympiad.
Exactly. It's the what does it be? The 30th games, 30th. Summer Olympic Games. Yeah, XXX.
Yeah. So right, then you start thinking. You know what I was saying about, for instance, symbology and stuff like that. And you've got McDonald's, and you've got Starbucks, and you've got Schweppes, all like essentially occult symbology. That's when people are buying into these things, they're subconsciously buying into this messianic event. You know, as I've stated before.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about this and the symbolism of the XXX, the triple X, think about what most single men do on the computers. I know it sounds crazy, but, you know, that's powerful energy that's being wasted there. There's life-giving energy, and, like, you know, they're symbolically buying into that triple X stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Same as you've got the triple X film with Vin Diesel, in which he's seen as this heroic figure, and everyone went to the cinema and powered the triple X thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, this shows you how endemic this thing is, and like you know how crafty these things are.
Of course, and also I think if you convert the alphanumerical number on a alphanumeric system from 1 to 9, then I think X becomes 6. So it's basically 666 right there.
666. Well, I didn't know that, but that's good.
Yeah.
Right, so next thing on, moving into William yet again, with more stuff to do with him. It turned out a few months ago that he'd been made the 1000th member of the Order of the Garter. Now, he's actually the 999th member of the Order of the Garter, but they changed it to 1000th because of someone, you know, not being registered or something on the official log. But as you will know, the Order of the Garter is the parent organisation of Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Right, so if you think about that situation that we've got there, what are the chances that Prince William, if they hadn't pre-planned this, would happen to be the 1000th member? I.e., you know, in the chronology of events, it just so happened that he was bang on the 1000th member.
And that's also could be interpreted as the 1000 points of lights. I don't know if you heard about that.
I don't know about that. No, that's new to me.
Yeah, okay, continue, yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? It's quite a hard coincidence to fall upon that it'd be the 1000th member in, you know, as it happens.
Of course.
But then go on further on again. Did you come across the Prince William received his wings news all over Sky News and stuff recently? I don't know if you came across that. Basically, he's been in the RAF, he's been doing his duties, and there's all the RAF symbolism flying everywhere at the moment. They're trying to get everyone into the armed forces by giving everyone a bank holiday for Armed Forces Day, you know what I mean? Let's keep the war going, guys.
Yeah.
But essentially, with the RAF, he said he received his wings, and if you look at the symbolism of the RAF wings and the RAF, basically, when you don't have your wings, the RAF is, the logo is the RAF in a, you know, a circle of, I can't remember the name for it, a wreath, like a circle wreath.
Okay, yeah.
So if you imagine that as the Egyptian sun disk for Horus, and then when all of a sudden they say he's got his wings, they put these wings on the RAF sun disk, and it makes it exactly the same as the Horus sun disk with wings.
There we go. Huh.
So, you know, the fact that they was pushing around the fact that he's got his wings, it was just symbolic for him saying that, you know, he's ascending into this thing, whatever you want to call this thing. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But, I mean, here I am again saying that Prince William is, as I said, with the Dan Brown book and the Da Vinci Code and everything that goes with it, they're trying to get the masses to believe that there's a lost bloodline of Jesus Christ, and there might be. But what I'm saying is they're trying to get everyone to accept that. And so when Dan Brown's book, which was a terrible book, written really badly, but obviously interesting story, when everyone from, you know, like your 60-year-old woman who like doesn't get out much to your Benidorm crew or whatever in Spain, when they were all like running around reading this book going on about it, they were all having the seed implanted in their head that there's a lost bloodline to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And you think about the idea of the Priory of Sion. This thing is all to do with the Sion Olympic Games.
Yeah.
It's all part of the same thing. But moving on, obviously the last thing symbolic with the Queen as well is that it's a Diamond Jubilee in 2012. So they're going to be...
Really?
They're going to be... Which is a lot of celebrations.
Yeah.
But moving on. Moving on, as always. Olympic bid 2012, the London Olympic bid. We received it, and we received confirmation on July the 6th, 2005.
The International Olympic Committee has the honor of announcing that the Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the city of London.
The day after was the 7/7 bombings of London, but on that particular day, everyone, the news would have us believe, was full of like positive energy that Great Britain had won the Olympic Games. I mean, I think there's probably only about 2% who were bothered about it, but the media would obviously tell you that everyone was, you know, going out and getting drunk about it, but essentially no. Yeah. But what they didn't tell you, and it's been covered up by the news, but it's on the internet, but it never got covered in News 24 or whatever you watch. Basically, on the same day that London bid was won for the Olympic Games, right, there was a huge, well, I don't know what you want to call it, massacre on the island of Haiti, in which 24 people confirmed dead after more than 300 heavily armed UN troops carried out a major pre-dawn military raid in Cité Soleil. So what happened was the UN troops, which is supposed to be the peacekeeping force, not something that goes out and actually, you know, does stakeout operations on drugs barons.
Yeah.
They did this pre-dawn military raid in which they killed 24 innocent people. Right, and there's a lot of people looking into this. But what is symbolic is the place where it was. It was in Cité Soleil, which is Sun City.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
Gets even weirder. It's one of the poorest communities in Haiti. It's one of the poorest communities in the Northern Hemisphere. It's got endemic AIDS, you know, poverty, everything. People are starving in this place because of the way that it's, you know, essentially it's been crippled by the power structure.
Yeah.
But basically, it's one of the poorest communities, as I've said, and it's in a place called Port-au-Prince. So it's Prince, Port, Sun City.
Mm.
On the same day the Olympic bid was won.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is that symbolically you've got Prince and Sun, and then you've got this thing that I've connected with Prince William. Was this another thing equally like buying into an event with such a negative, horrible event in which the UN massacred loads of people, or 24 people? Its symbolism is right through it, and it gets even worse because basically the UN Colonel Marino suggested that ballistic tests can be done on the dead, and he said records from the Medicine Without Borders shows an influx of civilian casualties starting at 11 a.m. The numbers are on the Wikipedia page, so 11 a.m. brought in. And then you look into Port-au-Prince itself. Port-au-Prince celebrated its independence 200 years ago. I don't know what it celebrated its independence from because it didn't seem to get any better. But the bicentennial monument that they erected in the independence of Port-au-Prince just so happens to be a pyramid without a capstone and an Olympic flame at the top.
Oh, nice.
Right. So I don't know what that's saying, but you've got Sun City with a prince and you've got a pyramid with an Olympic flame on the same day the Olympics 2012 bid was won.
My
that
God.
doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You know, it just doesn't happen. Too much in there. So obviously getting into touchy areas and stuff here because it's pretty dark, really, when you think about it. I mean, moving into the Olympics 2008, I found this out recently. The 2008 logo, have you seen the Beijing 2008 with the little guy and his wobbly legs?
I've seen that, yes, yeah.
It doesn't look very much like an athlete, but, you know, given it's the Olympics and stuff. But it just so happens that if you decide to compartmentalise this logo into 4 different sections, it spells the word Zion.
Really now?
What are the chances that 2 Olympic logos in in succession both can easily spell the word Zion without any form of trickery?
You know what? I'm looking at that as we speak here. I'm looking at your post about this, and that is incredible. Did you decipher that, or did you pick up that from somewhere else?
When I just deciphered it the other day.
Wow.
Just having a look at it and just saw it, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
That's really interesting. I'm going to have this picture up on the website or link up this posting here of the blog so people can take a look at that. And that is really interesting. Wow.
Obviously, you've got the slogan, One World, One Dream, for the Beijing 2008 Olympics. Doesn't that sound like a New World Order slogan to you?
Indeed.
Yeah. And so anyhow, this goes on further because there's more symbolism to do with the Olympics 2008.
Yeah.
Basically, on the 11th of November 2007, so that's 11/11, they released 5 mascots, right, for the Beijing Olympics. And these are weird little mascots that all got pyramid-style hats on. And essentially, each of these mascots correlates to a colour ring of the Olympic logo. You know, we've got the green, orange, red, black and blue rings, and each of the mascots correlate to one of these. They've all got their own colour. And essentially what you're looking at here is, if you take it back to the main calendar, and you've got the 26,000 year cycle, and essentially the Mayans believed that within that cycle there was 5 separate cycles of 5,150 years. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But basically they stated that at the end of each world, a particular one of the 5 elements destroyed that world and then created it again. You know, it restarted itself.
Indeed.
So there's like 4 destructions and moving into another cycle of sorts.
Yeah.
And I was looking at this, and there's one, the blue character, which is the last ring in the Olympic logo. The blue character is symbolic for water. It's called Baby. It's a weird little critter. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
But it's symbolic for water, strong in water spots, and she reflects the blue Olympic ring. And this is the only of the 5 characters that's got a spiritual third eye.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why has this got a spiritual third eye? And then you think about this Diana's ring of water, and then you think about this spiritual third eye in the mascot, and you think of water obviously is symbolic for Aquarius. There's this idea that we're moving into this blue ring of the Olympics, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, to explain this better, those Olympic rings for me are the 5 cycles of time from the main calendar. Only one's connected to another. And it's almost like there's the transition stage where the two rings meet up. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah.
And so when, for instance, you've got a set of films like by J.R. Tolkien, the Lord of the Rings, what it really means is the Lord of Cycles of Time.
Yeah.
Right. And so then when you think about the trilogy, you had the Fellowship of the Ring, which incidentally opens up with Gandalf's birthday on the 111th birthday, 111, which is obviously a pyramid number. You've got Fellowship of the Ring moving into the 2 towers. Sounds symbolic to World Trade Center, if you like.
Yeah.
Moving into Return of the King. Same thing. They're on about buying us into another messianic prophecy. So, do you know what I'm saying about this symbolically ring cycle thing? It's all basically insinuating that throughout the cycles of time, something has had control of everything. And what I'm trying to propose is that when, for instance, in Egypt, they pretty much know that the Grand Pyramid, the Great Pyramid, started fully formed as such, and then the Egyptian civilization went into decline from there and after. All the pyramids that followed it were in like disrepair. They don't stand the test of time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And obviously, everyone believes that preceding or before that, there was obviously the Great Flood of sorts. Potential like the Great Flood, which essentially came after the destruction of Atlantis. So what I don't know too much about Atlantis myself, except it's supposed to be a highly technological, civilization of sorts.
Indeed.
But if you think about these cycles of time, Atlantis was destroyed. The same power structure, whatever, managed to survive it anyhow because they had the technology to survive it, and then they restarted again straight with the pyramid back into the next cycle.
Well, there you go, and I think that's an extremely interesting point because to some extent we can, to some extent we can say that we are in kind of that technological advancement, as it were, right now, and we're also kind of approaching it. It's the speed up of the thing, and it's like, we're going to be like at the peak of our civilization, as it were, whatever we want to call it. And I think basically at the same time as everything is, the technological singularity, call it what you will, this kind of the high point of our achievement. At the same time that we actually reach that pinnacle, we could potentially also kind of fall again, so